Let's start at the beginning. The Hierophant. The Hierophant is one that represents religion, traditions, legacy things. So it does feel like, Aquarius, that you are looking at the traditions that have been handed down to you, whether they're working or whether they're not. So don't be afraid to change some things. Just because it's always been done this way in your family doesn't mean that that is beneficial or healthy. So it does look like you are looking at making some really base or core changes to either traditions or family legacies. But don't get too caught up in doing things the way that it's always been done. It does feel like it's time for a change for you. And Aquarius, you know, you color outside that box often. So this won't be that hard to move out of your space. Don't get stuck in the traditions. Just because mom and grandma did it doesn't mean it was healthy for you. So what crosses you is really taking a look at those legacy things. This also can be the card for inheritance. This also can be the card for emotional abundance. So you may be getting together with family members, kind of raising your emotional havingness a little bit. But it does feel, what's coming to me is that you've been kind of in a little sad place, almost stuck in a place. So it does look like it's time to move some of that out, some of the legacy stuff out, open your heart up and move some of the anger and the fear out. But it does look like there's some anger resting around your head there. You know, we can only change our own behavior and our own words, not anyone else's. So, but it does look like it's a time for you to kind of collect your thoughts, collect your emotions, see what you want to do for your next step. I do feel a big shift has happened that you're kind of reeling from. I'm not sure if it's a relationship space or a job space, but it does look like, well, most likely either relationship space for many of you, I should say, not for all of you. But it does feel like there was a big shift. It doesn't look like it came as a big surprise, but kind of the ending was a bit of a surprise, the suddenness of it, the sudden change. So it does look like you're reeling and you're rebuilding a life of your own and trying to release some of these old traditions that really don't work for you. They didn't work for you in this situation either. So kind of a lot of question marks there. What's your next step? Where do you go? But it does look like releasing some of that anger out of the middle of your head will help you move forward into your own growth and not kind of hold you in that anger that really doesn't serve you or anyone else. So what is above you is the upside down 6, sorry, upside down 6. And this, when it's right side up, it could, you know, it's balancing money, it's balancing people. This is upside down, so it does feel like you're having a bit of a financial challenge. There may be more bills than you counted on, or some surprise bills, or even it may be because of a loss of job or a shift in making your money. But it does look like that this is the top of this, so it is a concern. I do see in the long run it will balance out, but it does require some effort and some communication on your part to change this. But it does feel like what's going out now is more than what's coming in. This is the kind of the old, broken, alone, crying over spilled milk kind of stuff. But it does look like a situation that has happened kind of was holding you in some sorrow. It does look like you were beating yourself up a little bit. It is upside down. So it does feel like you're moving out of that, really taking a hard look at the things that you can change for you, whether it was within a relationship or without a relationship. But it does look like you are making some changes that needed to be made for quite a while. And one of them is actually making decisions. I'm feeling that many times in the past, you've made no decision, which is a decision in itself. And so the consequences of that is kind of a helpless feeling. So I encourage you to start making some of those decisions when you see that they're there. Don't ignore them till they explode and kind of make their own decision. But that looks like one of the big sweeping changes, life changes for you, is that you're going to be a little bit more attentive. Feels like you're going to be a little more proactive on making choices and decisions that affect you. The Ace of Wands is here. So wand, wand, wand. It does look like the hand of God is here in this reading for you. Very strong. And is kind of guiding you. It does feel like you have felt a little lost over the last couple of months, whether it's to do with a relationship breakup or losing a job. But there is some sense of loss or theft here that you are reeling from. The Ace of Wands kind of dictates sudden energies, things coming out of nowhere. Could be people, could be a job, but it does feel like something that is shocking, that will actually propel you into new beginnings. The Sun, our new beginning, is taking things from the creative essence and bringing them into the manifestation stage. So it does feel like you'll have some aha moments in October. So be ready to rock and roll. If you're not working now, you will be working really soon. But for those of you who are employed, it does feel like it's either a project or something that kind of hits you right out of the blue, and you'll be hitting the ground running. So the Sun kind of dictates that it's new beginnings, it's creative, it will be something that's healing towards you and fun. You'll be able to validate yourself for a little bit, because it looks like you've been a little invalidated over maybe the last 6 months. But this will validate you, your participation and your skills, but it does look like new beginnings that you had to get down to the nitty and the gritty to start building up again, Aquarius. So that is kind of what's happening here. The High Priestess is right here. That's really when you're finding your spiritual, emotional, and physical balance. It does feel like you've had to do some hard work on that over the last couple of months, and that it's coming more and more into balance. So don't be afraid to use your guides. Don't be afraid to check in with Spirit on a daily basis and to really truly listen to the God of your heart and what they are telling you. But it does look like your faith and intuition is rising day by day by day. You're getting a little bit more confidence and finding more balance. But it does look like you may seek out some information on the spiritual realm, whether it's taking a meditation class, a yoga class, reading a self-help book, or for those that embrace the atheism of life, just getting out there in nature. You know, nature may be your God, but it does look like it's a bit of a shift, and that you are creating some spiritual support for yourself, or more if you already have some. So this is the Seven of Swords, and this is kind of a fear card. This is just the base of fear. It kind of is about theft. It's about trust. It also can mean people are gossiping about you. So there may be some scuttlebutt in the world about your actions or your lack of actions. And, you know, it's really none of your business what anybody thinks about you. It's only your business what you think about. So it does look like it's a fear. It does not look like it's an actual, but, you know, if we spend too much time focusing on those fears, we can actualize and actually manifest them. So it does look like fear has held you back from your greatness. So you're taking a look at that and how to change that. The Ace of Swords, it's right between the High Priestess and the Ace of Swords. So I think this is just looking at some of your fears and maybe phobias that you've had in the past that don't work for you. It can mean even getting connected with someone that can help you move past that and create some tools, whether it's therapy, meditation, or just talking it out with a best friend. But it does feel like it is fears not grounded in the reality of the situation, that is just a fear. So if you could push through that, Aquarius, that would be great. The Ace of Swords here, that is also a God card. You have 3, so it does look like whatever you were hanging on to in the past and kind of exploded over these last couple of months really needed to change. Your attention and your participation in other things is imminent. And with all these God cards here, Spirit put an end to whatever that was so you could be ready and available to fulfill your destiny. It is time for that. The Ace of Swords is kind of a symbol of cutting through the truth, getting clarity. It also could be getting in touch with your intuition. You know, and aces bring it all right down to the nitty and the gritty and the simple forms of things, but they are God card. So it's when we're firmly planted on our karmic path. So it feels like whatever shift this happens over the last couple of months was extremely necessary because you have things to do in the future. Ace of Swords, getting clarity, speaking your truth, networking a bit, it feels like. Right above the Ace of Pentacles, which is money, material things, love, earthbound things, generosity, good management. So it does feel like you are starting to embrace managing your life a little bit more realistically and having realistic expectations, putting down the fears a bit. But it does feel like new beginnings. This is, you know, all those seeds that you planted during the spring months are now starting to bloom. So take a look at all the things that you've wanted to do. It does look like you have chosen one thing. It feels like, you know, you're checking things off, like physical health, nutrition, maybe exercise, reconnecting with, you know, your old buddies from the past. But it does look like you now have a little bit more realistic agenda, and it's time to start doing some of that healing work. But it does look like you were kind of cornered in the cave for the last couple of months and processing. Now it's time to come out of that cave and put some of your new space into to work for you. The 5 is here. 5s are challenges. You have this 5, that 5. I think you have another 5 here too. That 5. Yeah, so you have some challenges, but it does feel like you're in the middle of the journey. You're no longer in the beginning of it where it was really, really hard, but it does look like putting down your swords, not getting in the middle of something. This feels like a family disagreement that maybe in the past you have gotten sucked into, but it doesn't feel like that really works for you, getting sucked into their jive. So it does feel like it is best for you and more healthy for you to just stay out of the middle of it, even if your opinion is asked. If it doesn't relate to you, just leave it alone. It does look like that family dynamics of people taking sides and this side and that side and all the opinions and stuff is just creating a little bit more tumultuousness. So it does feel like you need to step out of that and let them duke it out until they're done, that it is better for you. But it does feel like sometimes you are the equalizer or the intermediary. But this time it doesn't look like that is healthy for you. So that is your general reading, Aquarius, for the month of October. I'm going to throw a couple of, all right. Let's take these. Vanity and impartiality. So, okay. So that pretty much says it all. It's the impartiality, which is the same as this. So step back out of things that really aren't your business, even if people are trying to engage you for your opinion or get you in the middle of it. And vanity, it's always best to look at things with a humble eye and give thanks and gratitude. So it does look like embracing that a little bit more. I see the 3 aces here. So it does feel like putting down the ego space and really embracing a little bit more humility and gratitude. So be careful of the vanity, which comes into when we engage in weird fights that aren't ours.